It was requested in a video in the comment section that I should do a way to illustrate how you would make the trees fall and also gain the loot from them. So as you can see here, we got no loot. If I go up here, we harvest the tree falls down, it despawns, and we get loot. So we have a bonus amount as well, so there's a chance that there's a bonus. In our case, it's leaves. So this one did not have a bonus. This one had a bonus. And it's a random amount each time. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and all of that. It really does mean a lot. And let's get right into it. So this tutorial begins with assuming that you have already got our inventory system and that you already have the foliage, watched the foliage video. If you haven't, you probably can figure things out as well. What we are going to start with is get our foliage in. So we're going to get a new static mesh foliage. For me, I'm going to be using the S Maple Medium. Collision should be set to block all. And we can just place a couple of these in the world right now, like so. You could also paint them if you want. See that they are now blocking us. If I interact with them, nothing is going to happen, so let's handle that. Inside your first person character, I already have the line trace set up here. Out from the out hit, I'm going to break that. Out from the hit component, you want to cast to foliage instant static mesh component, same as we did before. If that fails, we want to cast to our tree. Actually, let's finish this one before we start casting to the trees. As foliage, you want to promote that to a variable. The hit item is going to be promoted as well to our index. We are going to get the foliage ref, no, the foliage index, and we're going to get the foliage ref. The foliage ref, we're going to get the instance transform, plug it into world space. Index is our index, and we need to set up a small function in between these, so let's do that. The function will have a input of the transform, and we're just going to call it swap foliage. Inside this swap foliage, we're going to promote this to a local. We're going to switch our name. This is same as we did in the previous tutorial. I'm just setting it up here for the first time, so bear with me. If you want, you can skip ahead probably. Remove the default pin, add a new one. It's going to be the name of our tree, so that's going to be S Maple Medium. F2 to select it. If it's a Maple Medium, which we know it's going to be, we're going to spawn the tree, so we need to make the tree. We're going to make a new actor. It's going to be called BP Tree. Actually, you could do it proper, so BP Maple Medium. I'm going to finish this one before I do that. So spawn actor from class. It's going to be BP Tree. BP Maple. The transform comes from our transform. Adding it anyway, just to be redundant. So inside of our Maple Medium, we're going to add a couple variables. Foliage transform ref. We want the index of type integer. Expose that. So basically, we want the amount that the tree is going to give us. We also want to check if it has a bonus. We don't need to expose these, actually. Don't need to expose the amount either, because none of these will be accessible. We just need the index and the transform. We want the bonus amount. So the bonus amount is going to be an integer. Let's save that, head back to your first person so we can fill these out. Transform redundancy goes there. Index is our foliage index. And we did not add a ref, did we? Or did we not? Oh, let's do that. Foliage ref. That has to be editable and exposed. And here, refresh your node. Foliage ref is our foliage ref. So now it's spawning in the tree. We are not removing anything yet though, so let's plug this function into our nodes over on our FPP character. The transform comes from the one that we made previously. World space is ticked on. Now what we want to do is we want to get our foliage ref. We want to remove it from the world, so remove instance. Index is our index. I'm just going to plug it in from there. That is basically done for this part. Now what we want to do is we want to use the same cast node. So it's also the same interact. We want to do on cast failed. We want to do a cast to maybe our master pickup, right? Because we have that in our project as well. So that's going to be the hit actor, not the hit component. So the hit actor is going to be casting to the master pickup. And the master pickup is going to go into a branch that we're going to put up here. We're going to have a branch over here. I'm going to use that branch a couple times. So we're going to check if the hit actor does implement interface. The interface is our interact. Plug that into the branch. And if it does, we can just set up the interact as well. So out from hit actor, interact. The FPP ref is ourselves. This is all fine and dandy for the master pickup, but we also need one for the tree. So now we're going to cast to BP tree. what you would do here is you would do this in your guess to your harvest parent or something like that. If our foliage fails, then we're going to check if it's a master pickup. If that fails, then we're going to check if it's a master harvest or whatever. You know what I mean? That should go into our does implement interface again, and we're going to interact with it. Set over here, add a static mesh. This is going to be our maple medium. Remember not to change anything here about the position. We're going to set this one to no collision. We are going to add another component actually. Sorry, we're going to add a capsule collision. We're just going to set it to be like somewhat in the shape of our tree. You could do this in different ways. I am just using a capsule in order to get the physics that I want to happen on this tree. So I'm just going to put it like this. Maybe something like that is going to block all. And also put the static mesh now under that capsule. Another thing that we want to do with this capsule, the constraints, we're going to lock the Y on our rotation. We're going to lock Y rotation. Another thing we're going to add over here on the components, we're going to add a arrow. I'm going to go on force arrow. Keep in mind, I'm doing this, I'm showing one way that you could do it. There are many, many, many ways, probably many, many better ways to do this. But this is how I decided to set it up. So now on our force arrow, we basically have a little reference here. What we want to do is we want to head over to our interact on our tree. So have we set that up? Let's do interact interface. What we are going to do is we are going to head over to our interact. As always, we're just going to promote this FPP ref to local. We need to get our FPP ref. We need to get the HUD ref from that. And we need to get the inventory ref. Out from that, you can do add item. The item to add is going to be wood in our case. The amount comes from our amount here, which we haven't set up yet. Out from this, we're going to do a branch. We were not successful. We're just going to return with a false. However, if it's true, then we're going to go to another branch and see if we have a bonus. If we have a bonus, going into another add item, and here we're going to add maybe leaves. Okay, so I'm going to make a new item in our items folder here. Right click on. I'm going to right click on wood. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to call this one item leaves. It's going to be leaves. Maybe useful somewhere. It's gonna be stackable. I think we have some leaves in our pack here. Yeah, I'm just gonna do generic bush leaves. Stackable of 64 maybe. Compile and save that. So we're gonna add our leaves, and that's gonna be the bonus amount. I'm gonna plug into that. I'm gonna do branch. If we are not successful, we're gonna return with a false. Now keep in mind, I'm not implementing the remainder currently on our trees. After that, we're going to get our HUD ref, get the inventory, and we need to initialize that inventory. Because now something has changed in our inventory, right? If we, this is all fine and then if we have a bonus. If we don't have a bonus, we're just going to initialize the inventory because then we're just looting that. And then we're moving on to initializing. After that, before we continue here, let's go into the construction script for a minute, because so we can set up the amount. So the amount that the tree is going to drop, we're going to set a random amount. Out from amount, just do a random integer in range, and I'm going to do 3 minimum and 12 maximum. On the bonus amount, I'm going to do a random integer in range again. This one is going to be 2 to 22, maybe. After that, we're going to do another random integer in range. This one is, I'm just going to do 50% here, so 0 to 1, that's a 50% chance of, when I do a switch on int here, I'm just going to switch on 0, so that's a 50% chance of it having a bonus. I'm going to hide the default pin, I'm going to add a new pin. On add from 0, we're going to set bonus to true. From 0 to 1, if it ends up on 0, it's going to set it to true. If it ends up on 1, it's not going to set it to true. Compile and save that, head back into your interact. After you initialize your inventory, we're going to get our capsule. We're going to set collision response to channel. To world static, we're going to set it to block, even though it probably is block already. Redundancy, right? Making sure that everything is behaving as we want. Set simulate physics. We're going to simulate that physics. We're going to get our force arrow. So we want to add force at location. The location, no, not the force arrow, sorry, the capsule is the target. The force arrow is get world location. That is the location that we are going to add the force. I'm just going to add a number here, you could do a random integer in range and then switch on that end and then do a random location place as well. I'm just going to do it on the y-axis on 10,000. And there goes our tree. It's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. What you could do also is, once it's fallen, because now you can just run around and walk on it, what you could do is also, after we have set the foresight location, you can set collision response to channel. This time set it to the pawn and then set it to ignore maybe. Yeah, so now you can walk through it. However, it's still gonna block here. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna head over to the event graph, and I'm just gonna do a despawn. So I'm just gonna do dead or something. I'm gonna do a delay, let's say 5 seconds. And after 5 seconds, it's gonna destroy the actor. File and save that. And it's gone. Maybe 5 seconds was a bit fast. You can tune that as you want. But there we go. If I now just escape for a second, you can see that we don't have anything in here. I'm just going to harvest while we are looking at them. So now we got, this one had a bonus, so it had 20 leaves and it had 11 wood. This one also had a bonus. This one did not have a bonus. This one had a bonus, you know. So that's how you would harvest the foliage and actually gain the items from it. Thank you for watching. I'm going to get back to working with the inventory system. No, the equipment system, sorry. And I'll see you in the next video.